Hi, I'm Kurt Bowman and welcome to Yoga for Old Guys. I hope that you're participating in these various videos and enjoying them. I've had a couple of comments from people and I appreciate all the comments. Anything that you want to see or see added, don't be afraid to ask. If you want something more challenging, I'll do the best I can. Let's get started today, and today we're going to begin in child's pose. So bring your big toes together, knees apart, and start to push your glutes back as much as you're able into your heels. Let your head and neck hang, and walk your fingers and hands away from your body, opening up the shoulder blades. Go ahead and breathe into it. Stretch out those shoulder blades. Come back up. Come into standing. Bring your feet about shoulder width apart. Amazingly, it's not that far apart. Inhale, just bring your arms straight out in front of you. And exhale, bring your right arm out behind you to your right, keeping your hips forward and just twisting with your chest to the right, your torso and your chest to the right. Come back, arms straight out in front of you. Bring your left arm back. Move forward a little. Hit the curtains. And twist to your left with your chest and torso. Bring your arms back out in front of you. Okay, let's come down to the knees. If you're able, come back into a hero's pose where you are sitting, leaning back straight, and you're sitting on your heels. Come down into seated. This is where, if you want to stop the video, or if you have handy a strap or an old belt or a towel or something, this might come in handy. It does for me. If you bring your legs straight out in front of you, now bring them wide. And this is for me where the strap comes in. Arms overhead. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, come out over to the left and lean out over your left leg. Don't jam up just for right now. Just keep your sits bones down on the ground. And lean into your left leg. Come back to center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, come out to the right. Now for some, you just grab those right toes and bring your forehead down to your knee. That's okay. This isn't a competition. Just come into a stretch to get warmed up. Inhale back to center. Exhale, bring your feet back together, legs out in front of you. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, come into a forward fold, straight leg. And if you're able, go ahead and grab those toes. Come up to seated. Now bring your legs into a cross-legged position. Inhale in through your nose and exhale into a forward fold. Are you able to bring your forearms to the ground? And just as much as you're able, let your pelvic area just drop straight down. See if we can get those hips a little bit loose. Come back up. Change the cross of your legs. It does make a difference. Come into upward seated. Inhale and fold forward. One side a little bit more loose than the other. In this position, are your hips fighting you? Or can you just see if you can relax your pelvic region? Let it drop straight down. Walk your hands back up to seated. Inhale, twist to your left, and just now go ahead and hook your right arm, left thigh, and go ahead and lean. You're not twisting to the left, you're leaning down over your left thigh as much as you're able. Straighten that right arm. Get the shoulder, scapula area. Give that a gentle stretch. Come back up to center. Switch the cross of your leg. And now hook your left arm, right thigh, and go ahead and curl over that right. Can you bring your forehead down to your right thigh? If you can, that's great. Stretch that left arm out. Open up the shoulder area. And come up to seated. Bring your hands into cactus or your arms into cactus. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Focus on bringing your shoulder blades back and together. Fingers up by your ears and squeeze your elbows together. Bring them wide. Squeeze together. Bring them wide. Squeeze together. And one more time wide. Focus a little bit more, bring them wider, and come back down. Roll onto all fours. Start with the right leg and hip, and just come slightly to your left side, letting your right knee, hip, foot off the floor. Bring it up to a fire hydrant. Straighten it out behind you straight and bring it down. Bring it out to a fire hydrant. Bring it straight behind you and bring it down. Right knee out to a fire hydrant. Bring it straight behind you and down. Now just reverse that, but not with a straight leg. Just take your right leg, knee and hip, and go backwards with some circles. Back, up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down. A few on your own. And come into tabletop. Left side, free up that left leg. Fire hydrant, back straight behind you, point it, and bring it in and down. Left leg fire hydrant, straight behind you, and bring it down. Bring it to the side one more time, straight behind you, and bring it down. Circles to the reverse on the left side, bring it up, back to the side, forward, down, back to the side, forward, down. Just go ahead and do a few back to the side, forward, down circles on your own. Loosen up that hip and come into tabletop. Curl your toes under and come into a downward facing dog. Some more hip opening. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your knee up right behind your right wrist. Walk your left toes back, straight back. Your leg is going straight back, left leg. And come into pigeon. For some, that's up here right now, just like you are. For others, you're going to come down to your forearms, and for still others, maybe down to the ground. The key here is walk your back toes back, point them back, get them away from your body, and now just let your pelvis drop straight down. Don't roll to the right or inside. Don't say, ooh, that feels good when I roll it. Just let it go straight down. Open up that right hip. Come back up, walk your hands up. Push back into right leg, three-legged dog. Shake out that right leg. Come into downward dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left knee up by your left wrist. Push your right toes straight back. Push them back. And fold forward into pigeon, wherever you did on your right side. Let's do that on the left. The main thing here is to let your back toes, push them back as far as you're able, and bring your pelvis straight down. Go ahead and come up high. Curl your back toes under and come into left leg, three-legged dog, shaking out the left. Downward facing dog. Push back into that V. Let your head and neck hang. Walk your hands out to high plank. Engage your glutes, legs straight back, straight neck. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat and come into a forward fold. Let slight bend in your knees. Grab your elbows and sway gently right and left. Let your arms hang, swaying right and left. Roll up to standing mountain pose. Let's exaggerate your shoulders up, back, and down. Turn your palms face forward. Take a breath. Exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, come into high plank. Lower all the way to the floor. Put your forehead on the floor. Arms straight out in front of you, pinkies down, thumbs up. Knees, toes are pointed back. Everything's down on the floor. Keeping everything down, push down with your toes and get your knees and thighs off the ground. Pushing down with your toes. Now push down with your fingers. Your pinkies. Engage the shoulders by pushing down with your pinkies. Keeping your forehead down. Bring your arms out to cactus. Forehead still down and your knees are up and your thighs are up. Arms straight out to a T. T arms. Forehead still on the ground. Arms straight out in front of you. Arms down. Bring your palms in by your chest, by your ribs. Curl your toes back and push up into high plank. Push back into downward facing dog. Walk your toes, your feet forward. The front of your mat, forward fold. Roll up into mountain pose, shoulders back and down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, come into high plank. Engage everything. You're straight. You're not sagging. Lower all the way to the ground. Everything's down. Pinkies are on the floor, straight out in front of you. Thumbs up. Again, push down with your toes. Get your knees and thighs off the ground. Push down with your pinkies. Engage your shoulder blades. Bring your foreheads down. Bring your arms parallel along your body, but they're off the ground. Superman arms. Foreheads on the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Knees and thighs are off the ground. Your glutes are engaged. Come into cactus arms. Arms straight out in front of you, off the floor, and down. Everything. Palms up along your ribs. Curl your toes under. Push into high plank. Come into downward facing dog. Walk your hands back more into a V. See if you can push that V a little bit. Walk your hands out, high plank. Walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Forward fold. roll up into mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale into high plank. Are you engaged? Legs are straight. Everything's engaged and straight. Glutes are tight. And lower all the way to the floor one more time. Forehead's on the ground. Everything's touching. Toes are pointed straight back. Pinkies are on the floor. Thumbs are pointed up. Engage the pinkies. Pushing down, engaging the shoulder blades. Push down with your toes. Get your knees and thighs off the ground. You're pushing down. Hands, arms to cactus. Raise your elbows. Engage your shoulder blades. Arms parallel alongside, off the ground. Back into Superman. Knees are up, thighs are up. Arms into cactus. Bring your toes off the ground. Knees and thighs are now up. Bring your forehead off the ground. Chest up, neck up, head up. You're in cactus arms. Raise your elbows. Arms back alongside of you. Superman. Everything's up. Arms out to a T. Airplane arms. Raise them up. Back to Superman. Arms straight out in front of you. Everything's off the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Take and turn your left ear to the mat. Now right ear to the mat. Arms along your sides. Again, left ear to the mat, arms along your side. Right ear again to the mat. Bring your palms up along your ribs, chest. Curl your toes back under, come into high plank. Downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right foot up by your hand. Your left heel is up. You are coming into crescent lunge. Arms up in front of you. Take and hook your left elbow, right knee, and come into a prayer twist to the right. Ooh. Hands back down to the floor. Thanks for that, letting me do that. Palms down, come into high plank. Push back into downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left foot forward by your left wrist. Right heel is up. Come into crescent lunge. Hook your right elbow, left knee, and come into a prayer twist to the left. Left elbow is back and down. Hands back down to the mat. High plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Drop your knees, push back into child's pose. Come into tabletop. Push back into high plank. Push back into downward facing dog. And now walk again your feet forward to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Roll up into mountain. Take a breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, this time out through the mouth. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank, lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Push forward into high plank. Raise your right leg off the ground an inch. Right knee, right elbow. Bring it back, keep it off the ground. Right elbow again, off the ground. Right elbow again. Keep it off the ground. Push back, right leg, three-legged dog. Right knee, left elbow. Three-legged dog. Right elbow, three-legged dog. Right knee, bring it up to your chest. Three-legged dog. Come into downward facing dog. Push forward into high plank. Raise your left toes off the ground an inch or two. Left knee, left elbow. Keep the toes off the ground, back straight. Left elbow, straight. Left elbow, straight. Push back into left leg, three-legged dog. Left knee, right elbow, three-legged. Left knee, left elbow, three-legged. Left knee, chest, three-legged. Come into downward facing dog. Drop your knees, push back into child's pose. Let your head, neck come down, hang. Walk your fingers away from your body. Sink a little lower. Come up into hero's pose. You're sitting back on your heels. Tabletop. Now we're going to do something called thread the needle today. If done incorrectly, it can be dangerous for your neck. we're not going to be dangerous today. Square up into tabletop, and we'll start with the left side. Take your left arm and raise it. Twist your left arm overhead. Bring your left arm down under your right shoulder and come down onto your left shoulder. Now your head can be touching, but you should not have the weight of your body on the side of your head or neck. Your shoulder, your left shoulder, should be taking the brunt of it. You should be able to do this without putting pressure on your neck. If you're not, keep your right arm down as to not let the body's weight be on the neck. Come back up, left arm overhead, twisting to the left, come down into tabletop. Do the right side, right arm twisting to the right, up overhead, and thread that needle down under the left armpit, and you come down to your right shoulder. Come back up, right arm twisting to the right, up overhead, and come into tabletop. Back into hero's pose, sitting up as straight as you're able, and come down into seated. Knees up, and just roll back down onto your back. Knees up, and bring your heels as close to your glutes as you're able. Knees together. And again, now roll your shoulder blades underneath you. Just lift up a little bit and get your shoulder blades down underneath you. And push up into bridge by raising your hips. Again, this is not something for your neck. You should be able to move your head and neck as freely as if you weren't in bridge. You're up on your shoulder blades. Push up and lower your glutes back down to the floor. Ready? Again, bridge. Push up. Raise your hips. Raise them up. Raise them up. Keep your knees tracking forward. And bring it down. Last time. Bridge up. Engage those glutes. Squeeze the glutes together. Squeeze them, raise them, raise them. Raise them one more time. Track your knees forward and bring your glutes down to the ground. Come back up into seated. Lest we forget our ab work. Some of you would hate me. We did that. Let's come up, ground into the sits bones. Raise your feet up off the ground in a bent position, arms up into boat. Your back should be straight. It's okay to have your knees bent at this point. And the focus, if you can feel right down here under the lowest part of your ab, you are tight in there. Those muscles are engaged. Take your left leg, bring it out straight. Switch, bring your right out straight, left leg bent. Left straight, right bent. Right straight. Left straight. right straight, left straight, right straight, both of them straight, arm straight. Let's make a V. And come down, feet to the ground. Left leg straight, slightly bent. Bring your right foot back, curl it back. Your right thigh is straight out. And now, can you bring your left foot up, left knee up, right foot is back by your left hip, and twisting to the right. You feel that right here, your right hip loosening up, keeping the legs in the position. Just now lean forward over your left knee. You can bring that left foot back just a little bit more. Ideally, your knees would be down touching. That'll happen for me just before they put me into the crematorium. And come back out. Straighten them out. Maybe come down, touch your toes. Now bring your left foot in. Left thigh is out straight. Left foot is back here. Bringing your right knee up, right foot over your left thigh. And first twist to the left, bringing that knee back a little bit. Now let's twist to the right. I didn't do that on the other side. Sorry about that. Back over, bring that right knee in a little bit more. Twist, now push down with the right knee and lean out over your right knee. Come back up. Both legs out straight in front of you. If you want to use the belt or just lean forward out over your straight legs. Grab your toes if you're able, maybe the bottoms of your feet. Come back up straight. The theme of trying to open up our hips a little bit more. Come down into under your backs. Knees up. Bring your right thigh up over your left thigh. Lift your thighs, bring them to the left just an inch or two. Arms out to the side. And allow everything to fall to the right, looking to your left. This is really more for the lower back, I think, than it is the hips, but they're all tied together. Come back up. Switch legs, left thigh over right thigh. Raise the hips, bring them over to the right just an inch or two, and drop them to the left. Keeping your arms out to a T, looking to the right. Come back up, knees are bent. Bring your feet up. Grab the bottoms of your feet inside like this. Come up into what's called happy baby. Just the idea is focus on bringing your knees into your armpits. And you're not really rolling into a ball here, although when you first start doing this, it may feel like it. Ideally, your coccyx, your tailbone, that is on the floor, flat on the floor, and you're pulling your knees into your armpits. Slowly start to straighten out the legs as much as you're able in this position. Come back in, pulling your knees into the armpits. Push your feet straight out. Roll up into a seated. Bring the soles of your feet flat against each other. Knees are out. Take your elbows pushing down. Push those knees further apart and just lean forward into straight back. Keep your back straight, and lean forward over into your feet. Come back up and now curl down. Go ahead and curl your back. Drop your neck and head. Release. Come up into straight leg and roll back onto your back. Bring your knees up into your chest and now roll into a ball. Bring your head face in between your knees if you're able. Get as tight as you can into that ball. And straighten your legs out onto the floor for final Shavasana. Get your heels wide on the mat. Palms are up. Your face is relaxing, your cheeks are relaxing. Shoulders, chest, release the breathing. Forearms are melding into the mat. Go ahead and let the spine, lumbar, let it fall. Glutes, don't hold anything up. Thighs and backs of your knees. Feet are turned out to the side. Roll over to your right side and gently push yourself up into comfortable seated position. One more time, let your spine grow long, but let your arms rest on your knees. Take a breath in through your nose. Let it out through your mouth. Thank you for practicing with me today. I always appreciate it. If you so choose, you can like and share and spread the word a little bit. Build the yoga team for old guys. Hands to heart center. Lower your chin in gratitude to yourself for taking the time to practice. And to you I say namaste. Thanks again. Have a great day.